This is the Night Wolf howling at you, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Studio Series 86 Dinobot Swoop, based on the design from The Transformers the movie, which of course is based on the designs of The Transformers the animated series. We do have kind of like this higher class cardboard than what they'd been using previously. He's a leader class, even though he's the smallest of the Dinobots, and I think the packaging overall looks pretty nice. On the side, we just have the 86 Leader Class Information Studio Series and Swoop's head. On the other side, we've got a slightly bigger image of Swoop. No artwork for him in robot mode, which is really going to mess with the way I do my thumbnails. And on the back of the box, we have Swoop in robot mode and Swoop in Dinobot mode. Dinobot in dinosaur mode. And looks like they are most likely product renders and not actual product shots again, with a little bit of information saying that the big screen inspired scale, detail, and backdrop. Why is that on there twice? Somebody screwed up on the layout when they did this. And being that they usually use 5 languages, I'm kind of wondering if they forgot one there. Because here we have 5 different languages. Here we have 5 lines, but only 4 languages. So yeah, I think this is an issue with the box. His backdrop is the Autobot City at the beginning of the movie. Just out of curiosity, does anybody actually use these backdrops in their display? I think I have one in my display, which I want to say is the one that came with Grimlock, but that's behind like 3 of the Dinobots. And actually, even though Swoop is the 4th Dinobot, he is only the 3rd one that the 4th one that I've opened. Snarl is still sitting in his box. And here is Swoop. He comes with his own sword, and he comes with Grimlock's sword. At least I'm pretty sure this is Grimlock's sword. If I'm wrong, feel free to correct me. And then Swoop's sword. Along with the 2 swords, we get his 2 missile launchers, or that's what they were back when they were in the G1 toys. I'm not sure why they decided to have these as separate parts. I don't think we're gonna have too many people taking those off to launch them, you know? And they might as well have just turned this into a blast effect compatible piece, in my opinion. It is not. That seems kind of stupid. I'm not a big fan of how hollow the bottoms of these are. But at least for the most part, depending upon what form you... I guess technically in either form you have him in, you probably won't see that very much. But now let's get on to the star of our show, Swoop. He does have the metallic gold paint on him. And if I remember correctly, since I haven't actually opened up Snarl, Snarl is the only one out of the 5 Dinobots that they ended up not using this paint on for the different parts, making him look like the cheapest one, which is honestly the reason why I haven't opened him up yet. Because I do remember watching the review from Prime vs. Prime when he came out. And yeah, that lack of the paint and just using the cheap looking gold plastic just removed all excitement from me, which is sad because my two favorite Dinobots are actually Snarl and Swoop. I know most people are like Grimlock's the best Dinobot, but I've always preferred the Stegosaurus and the Pterodon or Pterodactyl, like the flying dinosaurs, more than I've liked the T-Rex. I know I'm weird. Anyway, Well, supposedly he can kind of hold his gun, or the missile launcher has a gun. Um, the way it looks like it was designed to fit on his hand, if you look at that, but at the same time, it's not really sitting in there very well. So that feels like a bit of a failure. You do have little peg holes you can peg it into on the back of the robot mode if you want, either down or up, depending upon your preference. And this one is actually Swoop's sword. It fits in his hand just fine. But you can also have him hold Grimlock's sword, which is way bigger. So this actually kind of looks like going for the whole samurai thing with the one long sword and the one shorter sword. You know what I mean? The katana and the Dato Danto. Uh, Go ahead and correct me on that one. Ironically, if you want to get the other Dinobot sword, you have to buy the cartoon version of Grimlock to get all of the Dinobot swords. Although now that I think about it, does he come with 4 swords or just the 3 swords for the other Dinobots? Or does he might actually come with Grimlock, the Grimlock sword, Snarl, Slag, and Snarl? Sludge. But but yeah, he probably also comes with a Grimlock sword, so you have the Grimlock sword to go with the animated version, and then you have to get the other swords for the rest of the Dinobots. Which honestly, I don't know why they didn't. They should have just made this one full piece, the guns, and then just given us all the swords with Swoop. Because Swoop is the smallest of them. I think he's probably the least amount of engineering, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But let's go ahead and go over his articulation, and then we will do our usual see if we can transform him without the instructions portion of the review. The head is on a ball joint and can spin all the way around and can kind of look down a little bit, can look up a little bit, kind of off to the side, backwards. With the transformation joint here, he can hide his head in his chest and cry. um, God, there is something wrong with me. Um, the wings are on hinges so that you can get them out of the way. However, you want to display him, straight on, kind of leaning back. But you may want to have them all the way back when you try to spin the arm around, which does go all the way around. There is a big old hinge here, as you can see, the joint. So you get that nice outward momentum. Bicep, well, that was funny. With bicep cuts, single joint on the elbow, giving us a full 90 degrees. They do have a little bit on the back there, so it doesn't look like it's a super hollow elbow. His wrist does spin, but it is tight. And you can move it in and out just because of the transformation. And although technically this is not supposed to be a joint for posing, you have a pseudo butterfly joint at the upper arm just for transformation purposes. At least I'm pretty sure that's just for transformation purposes. Can't see any other reason to have that there. If you want, you can go for the Eldritch Horror thing and have him with his pterodactyl beak up as his regular face too, for a screaming horror mess. That was a terrible pterodactyl scream. But all stupid stuff aside, which I mean, he does have a waist cut. So when you have the pterodactyl head, the pterodon head, sorry, I keep on calling him pterodactyl. My apologies. Pterodon head does interfere with the turn, but if you do lift it out, you can get more of that. So if you are posing him, You can pull the head up a bit and then put it back down in position once you get him posed the way you want him. The one problem is, though, the wings can also interfere with it. If you have them leaning back like that, you'll see that they'll hit. So to really get that full 360, the wings have to be all the way out. I don't know if this is an issue with my figure or in this figure in general, though, but there does not seem to be a whole lot of locking in position with some of these transformation points. Leg-wise, he can kick all the way to the side, and do the splits. I don't know why I'm always so focused on the splits with these figures. Bring legs back into position. He can do a full 90-degree kick forward and a full 90-degree kick into the back. We have a double joint, on the knee. Although, to be perfectly honest, the reason for that is definitely the transformation. And the little teardown toes are articulated as well. You don't really need that in robot mode. We have an ankle rocker. No spin on it, which is normal. And of course, for transformation, the toes do move up and down, as does the heel spur. And you can, of course, put the heel spur all the way in. That does give us a pretty decent variety for posing of this character. And I like him. Like I said, Swoop is one of my favorite of the Dinobots, along with Snarl. I think Grimlock is third. And then the other two can just whatever. No offense to anybody who likes them. The thing with Dinobot Swoop, however, or Swoop, in the animated model, his chest was blue like they show here. However, the toy for the original G1 release had a red torso like the rest of the Dinobots. I'm not really sure why they decided to make Swoop's torso blue in the show when all the other Dinobots were red. Maybe next time I'm at a Transformer convention and they have one of the animators there or one of the show writers there, they'll have an answer for that. However, it's time for the part you've either all been waiting for or all dreading. Me trying to figure out how to transform Swoop into pterodactyl mode. So we'll do the obvious here and just get the hands out of the way right now. I will keep the wings back. Because we know, obviously, the head's going to come forward, the legs are going to fold forward, and the wings are going to fold out. The main question here is, in the original Swoop, the chest compressed after you got the head out of the way, and I don't know if this one does that or not. But that would explain that joint. Okay, so, yeah, when I open this up, actually, those are some pretty nice details inside there, if you can see that. Yeah, we've got two things here. That's what's been holding the head in place. Yep. Oh, shit. There is a double joint there so that you can compress his torso. Okay. His torso fully compressed. So that's a relatively easy transformation for Swoop. Not too far different from the original G1 toy, which is probably why it was as easy as it was. The swords are designed so you can connect them into any of the ports. As kind of shown before, you've got enough of a joint here so that you can do the usual. You'd often see Swoop standing like this in Dino form, which looks much better in the animation than it does in the actual toy. I'm being perfectly honest here. On the box, they kind of display him like this. Those wings get in the way of that. In Dino mode, articulation-wise, articulated toes, which do absolutely no good for anything other than, balance. The head does go ahead and do the 90. I am almost certain that this piece is somehow wrong right here. I mean, it does have a little bit of... It looks like it should be able to move, but I have not been able to force it. And I do not want to force it in case it breaks. Oh, wait. There we go. Okay. So it went into there. Oh, yeah. Okay. So that works as his neck so that it doesn't stand out as being just... It kind of hides the kibble, I guess, or the toy parts, however you want to put it. But yeah, okay, I finally got that in place. So that's actually a little bit better. Still lets us move his head like that. But yeah, so that's just his neck, so that it's, we can call it whatever that thing is on the bottom of a turkey, you know. Swoop's dino mouth does open up, and you can see it does have a point for a blast effect if you have one to put in there. We have lots of exploding effects for Transformers, but we don't have particularly good flame effects, and I think that would be nice to have. I still want to say I think Swoop should have come with all the Dinobot weapons, but all the swords, and these missiles should have just been a single piece, because I don't know too many people are just going to launch this by itself. Although I guess if they had a blast effect that came all the way out that you could plug this into, sort of like G.I. Joe did with the bazookas, except for the bazookas don't have a big enough peg hole for that. That might have looked kind of cool, but otherwise it's just kind of stupid. But my overall thought with Swoop is that I really do like this Transformer. I can almost guarantee you they're probably going to repaint him in the toy colors and give you the red torso. And maybe that one will come with some additional swords too. I would like to see the Dinobots done in the standard G2 colors, which would be Grimlock in blue, Slug or Slag, whichever name you want to use. I know Slag is a naughty word for a woman in Great Britain, but it's also just, molten metal. So, and of course, Snarl was in red. Oh, Slag was in green. I don't think I actually said that before. So I would like to see those standard ones. We have seen a prototype of a G2 Swoop, which is going more for the wild colors that they did. I kind of prefer the more realistic coloring, I guess you could say, that they did with G2 more than when they went for the wild Dayglow bright ass colors thing that a lot of G2 did. But I'm not necessarily opposed to those either at the same time. I am, after all, collecting the G2 Menasor parts. Can't wait to get those finished. I will say, as a note, I like the way that they have the wingspan kind of like fold up like this to compress the wings more for robot mode, while still giving us a great wingspan in beast mode. can't believe I had that much problem trying to take the torso apart again. Chicken neck will have to be folded up again before you put it down. And now the robot head is stuck inside the bird skull. Oh my god. What is happening here? Oh god. I can't get his head out of the head. What the hell? What am I doing wrong here? There we go. Okay, okay. So something I didn't realize earlier. This is what happens when you don't read the instructions first, right? So there's this base here that hinges in there. So when you have this, so when I transformed him earlier, I should have actually did the head, pull this down first and then put the head there. Because when you do that, it locks the head, the robot head in place. So then you pull that off and move that. Oh god, now his fist is stuck inside of his hand too. I pissed somebody off up the stairs. Okay. Anyway, I think this better conclude our look at the Studio Series Swoop figure. When you get your hands on them, don't forget that this is here. To lock that robot head in place. Oh man, I stun myself sometimes. I won't lie. Uh, yeah, I really like him. I think he's a good addition to the Transformers line. I don't feel like he though has like the same high grade engineering that some of the previous Dinobots have had. So I see no reason why they couldn't have just given us all the Dinobot swords. And once more, just this should have been just a solid piece, unless they designed blast effects specifically to work with this. You know, we have the nice trail and then this attached to the end. Otherwise, it's pointless. It just is pointless. So I hope you enjoyed this look at Swoop. Got a good laugh out of it maybe when I couldn't get the freaking head out of the head. That sounds weird too. Anyway, leave some comments down below. And if you enjoyed watching me make an idiot of myself, subscribe. It'll happen more often. I do like to do the Transformer transformations without looking at the instructions first, and to see if I can do it without them. So that is a regular thing on my channel. And even when I do know how they're supposed to transform, it doesn't always work out well. I have not posted the cliff jumper one I did yet, but let's just say there were some issues with that one. Peace and love.